So, howdy folks, or should I say boo? Welcome to the Ghost Walk. You know, I'd offer you a shot of Jim Beam, but I only have enough for myself. I am William Admiral Johnson. That doesn't ring a bell? Well, okay. You know, when my parents gave me that name, little did they know that years and years later they'd be watching me on an Admiral TV set. Maybe some of you, probably not, you all are too young, but maybe some of you or your family did too. Or maybe listened to my records or heard me on the radio or even danced at one of my live shows. And if so, then they'd remember me as Buddy Johnson. So, let's see, the Colorado Rangers, which was my band, they kept the Rocky Mountain region here jumping for 40 years. From Lamar to Gallup, all up and down Colorado, New Mexico, to Parker to Raton. And we played what was called Western swing music, which is sort of a combination of jazz and country with a good toe-tapping beat. People seem to like it. We played tunes like Three-Way Boogie, nope, okay, Roadside Rag, about Take Me Back to Tulsa. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Kind of went like that. I was a singer with that band, and I also played the drums and the bass, but not at the same time. That would be ridiculous and unnecessary. We had a pretty good time here, and in fact, by 1952, oh, well, let me tell you, this is a little bit of trivia for you here, if this isn't all trivia for you. Our very first gig, which was right after World War II, was right around the corner here at a joint called the Senate. And then for the next 40 years, we played all around here. In 1952, we even had some national recognition with a tune that we recorded on the Blue Ribbon label called Can I Take My Pony to Heaven? Don't ask me to sing that. I forgot that one a long time ago. Perhaps it was that national recognition, though, that combined with my natural gift of gab that some people say I have, that gave me the boldness, they emboldened me to approach KCSJ, which you would know these days as KOA TV. And I suggested that they put me on the air. Well, wouldn't you know that they did? They took me up on that, and over the next 8 years, I had 5 different radio and TV shows. Probably the best remembered of which was called The Buddy Johnson Show. Catchy, huh? It was actually called The Buddy Johnson Show Adventures Club. And it was a little kid show. We had it in the afternoon, and did a lot of birthday parties, And I bet over that 8-year run from 54 to 62, I bet we put 100,000 kids in front of the camera. And who could forget the characters we had, like Princess Columbine and Coco the Clown. Now perhaps it was this this on-air exposure that meant that every time a national country music celebrity would come into town, you know, promoting a record or on a tour or something, they would have me interview them right on the air. And over the years, I got to know many people that you would know. Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Ray Price, a lot of those names. And in fact, Roy Rogers' wife, Dale Evans, she was on my TV show several times, as was Ernest Tubb. Any of you remember Ernest Tubb? Well, if you do, then you know that Dale was a whole lot prettier than Ernest. In fact, we used to say that Ernest Tubb had the perfect face for radio. You know, it's probably thinking about all those old pals of mine that makes this upcoming holiday here maybe my favorite, Halloween, because I get to see all my old buddies again, or at least their spirits. In fact, yep, that's him, Hank Williams. Hank Williams, I see him over there in the distance across the street, you know, Forever 29. And now this is not Hank Williams Jr. or Hank Williams the third or Hank Williams Light. This is Hank Williams. This is the real deal. Forever 29. And so skinny you can see right through it. And over there crossing Grand Avenue right there, I think it's, yeah, that is the king of Western swing music out of Texas, Bob Wills. Now, oh, careful, Bob. Oh, no, it doesn't make any difference. He's a ghost. Yeah, later on, the folks who will come by here, I'll be telling them in the dark that if you look over there, you can maybe see the faint glow of his cigar. It doesn't quite work when it's 5:30, but... let me tell you about my my movie career. Perhaps those of you who do remember Buddy Johnson didn't know he had a movie career. Well, it started out lowly enough. I was the host of an afternoon movie program called Western Star Theater. And we'd just play old cowboy movies, and I'd come on and say witty things in between. But, you know, the movies get in your blood, and it's kind of tough to get them out. So later on, when my son, John Johnson, a filmmaker, when he was putting together a documentary on the life of Damon Runyon, another famous Pueblo in here, a lot more famous than me, then he cast me as the sheriff. But, let me tell you, perhaps the highlight of my movie career was not on the camera, but behind the scenes, as what is credited in this movie as the executive. I was sort of a producer on this Halloween cult classic shot right here in Pueblo, Colorado, Curse of the Blue Lights. Any of you ever heard that? No.
You should try to sing it.
I am told that if you do something, it's called, okay, first of all, let me tell you, I died in 1986. So when people talk to me about NewTube or YouMove or something like that, you know what I'm talking about? Any of you? YouTube. That's probably it. I've heard that you could see it on YouTube. Okay? Don't know what that means, but you knocked yourself out, okay? Another thing that we did during the 50s and 60s was we had a place up in Beulah that we called Gateway Park. And we had a jamboree on Sunday afternoons during the summertime, and people would come up there and have a great time. And we also did something for the kids, too, on Halloween. We'd have all the kids come up there. We'd have a big bonfire, and they'd come up with their costumes on. And you never saw so many mummies and princesses and Frankensteins all dancing to the Buddy Johnson beat. Well, I gave up the ghost myself in, as I said, 1986 December. And but don't cry for me. Let me tell you, I had a great time doing what I love doing. And you know, I'd see by my non-existent wristwatch here that it's about time for me to saddle up my ghost horse, Chubby, and ride off into the night. When it becomes night finally, I wonder how many times I'm going to have to change my script to talk about that before it gets nice and dark. But I've heard that there's going to be a Spirit World jam session tonight, and I get to sit in on bass. So, if you're home tonight, you're in bed, you're not quite asleep, listen closely. I get no respect. Listen closely, and maybe you'll hear me sing Antonio Rose for you. I want you to hear this. My sign-off from 1957.
We hope you've enjoyed a little get-together. We have refreshments in Benny Johnson, KCSJ. Radio Pueblo, next Wednesday night we'll get to you in 30 minutes. Goodbye, good luck, and God bless you all. Goodbye, neighbors.
When you get up to the other end of the tour here, you started out at one fine museum, you'll end up at another one. When you get up there, they'll give you something warm to drink, and you ask them where the Buddy Johnson exhibit is. Go take a look at some of my memorabilia there. And when you see that, you look at those pictures of that lanky young cowboy. Just remember that ghosts don't get much exercise. So, neighbors, good night, good luck, and God bless.